Okay, grade 12s, let's have a look at another arithmetic series. Let's have a look at this one. I'm going to write it down. 4 plus 0 minus 4 minus 8 minus 12 minus 16 minus 20, and let's go on. Okay, it's arithmetic. The first term is 4. The constant difference is negative 4. Now, I could ask you, what is the fourth term? So, the fourth term would be negative 8. Okay. Which term of the series is negative 8? It's 4. It's the n value. But how about this question? How many terms of the series will add up to negative 20? Okay, now if you think about that carefully, we're not asking for the sum of the first 20 terms or something. We're saying how many terms will add up to negative 20. Well, let's have a look at this. If you look at this, if I take 4 and I add 0, and then I add negative 4, and then I add negative 8, and then I add negative 12. Look at this. This is going to give you 4 plus 0 minus 4 minus 8 minus 12, which is negative 20. The 4's cancel, and negative 8 minus 12 is negative 20. So what we can say is that the sum of the first 5 terms will give me negative 20. So in other words, we've added up 5 terms. But of course, they could have said how many terms add up to a big number, or a small number in this case, a very small number, because you're going down. Okay, so the question is, how do we use a formula to do this? Well, look, let's assume that we've got the sum is given as negative 20, but we don't know how many terms. We know it's 5, but let's pretend we don't, and we want to use a formula. Well, because it's arithmetic, we've got Sn is n over 2 into 2a plus n minus 1d. So now we can use that formula. The sum is going to be negative 20, but we don't know what the n is, the number of terms. But we can say n over 2 into 2a is 4. Okay, where's the a is 4? Plus n minus 1, and the constant difference is going to be negative 4. We keep subtracting 4. So let's see what happens now. Negative 20 is n over 2 into 4 times 2 is 8. Distribute that out. It's negative 4n plus 4. So that's negative 20 is n over 2 into 12 minus 4n. So let's multiply in here and see what we get. Negative 20, well, n over 2 times 12 is 6n. n over 2 times negative 4n is minus 2n squared. There's a common factor of 2, so let's divide everybody by the 2, and we get that. So let's make a trinomial. N squared minus 3n minus 10 is 0. Now look at this. This can factorize into n minus 5. N plus 2 is 0. So n is equal to 5, or n is equal to negative 2. Now, automatically, this is not valid here, because you can't have n being negative, okay, because it's the first term, second term, third term, fourth. So there has to be 5. N must be 5. So the sum of the first 5 terms is negative 20, which is true, because if you add up those first 5 terms, you get negative 20 there. Okay, but I've used the formula for Sn to help me, because it might not, I mean, you can see it here. The sum of the first 5 terms adds up to negative 20. But what about if you have, bigger numbers or smaller numbers, like in this case? So let me give you another question. So I said to you, here's your series. Okay, so it's 4 plus 0 minus 4 minus 8 minus 12 going on. And I said, how many terms will add up to negative 140? Now, it'll be quite tricky to keep expanding down and then adding. So let's work out what we can do using a formula. A is 4, D is negative 4, and the sum of an unknown number of terms is that. So we can go into our formula. Sn is equal to n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1 multiplied by d, and let's get a trinomial. So a way that we can approach that is to say, well, okay, let's tidy up in the brackets. So it's negative 140 is n over 2, that's 8 minus 4n plus 4, exactly like we did previously. Okay, so negative 140 is equal to, okay, n over 2 into negative 4n plus 12, multiply n, so this gives you negative 2n squared, multiply that in, plus 6n. Okay, so let's have a look. Divide everybody by 2, which I think would be quite easy to do. Negative 70 is negative n squared plus 3n. Bring those across and create yourself a good-looking trinomial. Factorize it, so it's n minus 10, n plus 7. Okay, so n is equal to 10, or n is equal to minus 7. This is not valid here. You can't have a negative number of terms. So how many terms will then add up to minus 140? The sum of the first 10 terms does that. And there we've got it.